Zombieland Double Tap is once again directed by Ruben Fleischer and stars Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin, as well as Rosario Dawson, Luke Wilson. 10 years after the first one, the four of them are still trying to survive in a world overrun by zombies, and now they're hanging out at the White House. And as the four of them begin to argue and separate, newer, more evolved zombies that are much harder to kill appear. I like the first Zombieland. It's a very entertaining movie. I've never felt like watching it a lot. It has sequences that I love. I adore the Bill Murray stuff. I think that's really funny. The characters, for the most part, are likable. It's an easy film to watch, but I've never been in love with the first movie. I thought it was just good. I own it. I like it. And so for some reason, I missed this movie. I think I was on a trip or something. I can't even remember. But last year, I didn't get a chance to see the film, and I didn't see it after that because there was a whole bunch of other stuff to review afterwards. But I finally saw it, and I'm glad I did, because this film is okay. I heard really bad things about it, strangely, from major fans of the first film. Perhaps since I'm not as big a fan of the first, I was okay with this movie more so than most. My favorite part of the film is Woody Harrelson. He's great as Tallahassee. He's easily the most likable character in the whole movie. Forced to ride in a van that he hates for most of the film, and hoping that he can eventually find Elvis's Graceland. And it was actually kind of refreshing to see Jesse Eisenberg not as like an overly neurotic, nervous, cynical person. He's got a smile on his face for most of the movie. He's like a happy presence of joy, which I'm so not used to seeing him play. But my biggest issue with the film by far is its use of a soap opera-like love triangle between Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Zoey Deutch. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her last name, actually. She's great in the movie. She is really funny. She plays a character that might be a few cans short of a six-pack, so to speak, but she's really good in the movie and very funny. But this love triangle that develops feels so forced and abrupt. It feels so written. Jesse Eisenberg proposes to Emma Stone, and she gets so freaked out that even though she's been with him for 10 fucking years, she just leaves and leaves a note. I just found that so abrupt and very unbelievable. It just didn't feel like it was earned, really. And because of that, arguments go back and forth between the movie and unnecessary bickering that feels like they just didn't know what else to do with these characters. It feels like they all had a nice ending in the first film, and now they're just trying to find excuses to make them at odds with one another, which doesn't really make sense since they have been surviving like a family for the past 10 years in a post-apocalyptic world with nothing but zombies. And I just don't buy that they're all so easily torn apart like that. And sometimes the action sequences can feel like, hey, we need one of those. All right, we'll have one. Let's have like a 3-minute action scene with a bunch of cool kills. We needed that. It's not that they're boring or anything. It just feels like they're sort of going through the motions sometimes with this film. It's a sequel that people wanted to see that for the most part is satisfying. It's nowhere near as good as the first, but it can escape this strange feeling where you're not entirely sure if we actually needed this movie. But they did come up with a pretty clever idea for one specific joke, where they're talking about a company that maybe should have happened one day. They're like, what if we had a company where people could just be picked up by strangers and taken to locations because the taxi service is so expensive? And people are like, that's dumb, that would never happen. It's kind of clever that they can take something like we know as Uber, pretend like it never existed, and then write it into this world as a joke. I would have liked to have seen them do actually more with that kind of humor. But still, Zombieland Double Tap was a nice refresher with some characters that I like. It didn't really feel like it earned being a movie, but I was still entertained for the most part by it, and it also didn't make me upset. It didn't feel like it ruined the first film at all. It just sort of was a movie. That's my professional review. I hope you liked it. That's the Blu-ray quote. Zombieland 2 was a movie. I'm going to give Zombieland Double Tap a B-. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.